What's up, guys? And today we're going to be talking about anime and manga. And one thing I realized, why in America do, because manga and comics are basically the same thing, just two regional differences. Why don't we call, comics something else in America? How, I believe it's Korea, they have manhwa. What about Among Us? Actually, no, that does not sound good. Oh, no. Well, anyway, guys, further ado, we're going to be listing, the things we dislike about different animes. And so, let's get into this. Okay, so starting off, we have One Piece, and it makes sense because it's the number one spot for this list. Well, it doesn't matter which order, but, first One Piece makes a lot of sense. And so, the problem I have about this one isn't really the anime, even though it has somewhat bad pacing, but it isn't really the anime. My main problem comes from this. This is like Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. It'd be a whole trap card out here. So you watching One Piece? Actually, no. You haven't watched One Piece yet, but you want to watch One Piece, and so you start watching One Piece. About 20 episodes in, you already start giving your opinion. You're not really a big fan of it. Then they'll say, this is what the fans will say. They'll say, "Oh, you haven't just watched that many episodes. So you watched that episode 100, you still don't like it." They're saying, "Oh man, that's just a fraction, bro. You haven't really gotten into it, and you can't really say much because you haven't really watched One Piece, so you don't know One Piece." And then guess what? You get up to episode 450, they'd be like, "It makes no sense, bro. That's still not enough. You gotta actually get into One Piece, get into the arcs, understand the stuff." He'd be like, "I don't get this stuff. I'm not really a big fan of it." Now, I'm a big fan of One Piece, just so you guys know. But yeah. Then once you pass the halfway point, that's when they activate their genjutsu, their trap card. You just fell straight into the track. And then it gets to the other topic. Well, you're already at episode such and such. So, what's the point of trying to continue? You should just continue. They legit just set you up in a genjutsu and you fell for it. You were not paying attention. Once you pass the halfway point, they're going to say you're already at episode such and such, so you might as well finish. And it makes no sense. You're already this far. You already spent this much time into it. So you can't really say that much. That makes no sense. You watch the anime. You should be able to give your opinion. If you don't watch enough of it, you can't give your opinion. If you watch too much of it, it makes no sense to give your opinion because you already spent your time on it. That makes no sense to me, in my opinion. And that's just honestly, as a One Piece fan. As an anime fan in general, that makes no sense. I don't see any other anime community doing that, except for One Piece fans. And it might be because of the bad pacing and the 1,000 episodes, and that nobody wants to watch. But, yeah. Getting on to the next anime. Okay, so Naruto. The only problem that I would have to say is how, after the Sasuke retrieval arc, basically everything else was filler.
Oh my god!
Not a single canon thing. They could have even had a canon mission or something. No, all those missions were non-canon. And that kind of sucks because they have some deep lore behind them and they are super cool. But they're just filler. And so they'll just stay in a filler's place, which kind of sucks in my opinion. Also, if you're wondering, that's probably the reason why Netflix, never actually decided to add anything after the Sasuke retrieval arc. Because, being honest, Naruto basically ends there. Anyways, that's all I gotta say about Naruto. Let's get to Naruto Shippuden. I feel like there's, my main problem with Naruto Shippuden, besides, the multiple plot holes, was the fact that they decided to just cast all the characters into the side character standpoint. Why they have to kill Neji? Why they have to make Rock Lee weak? And I can't wait to get to Boruto next. Because I am not done with Rock Lee. Anyways, why they just have to make these many characters weak? And it just makes no sense. Another problem that I do have with Naruto is that I feel like the speed of the characters are somewhat in certain parts, in the beginning of Naruto, was somewhat decreased compared to Naruto, just base Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. I feel like the characters actually move faster in base Naruto than they did in Naruto Shippuden. Just overall, if you look at that. Until later, after from Pain Arc up, that's when the characters started actually, looking like they move fast. because it did not look like they were moving fast whatsoever. It looked like they were just walking 20 miles an hour, and that sounds fast, honestly. But getting on to that, another thing, another problem I had, the problem with the Akatsuki. So there's supposed to be these guys who each and every single member by themselves can take on like what? Like they could take on what? Like I think they said like a kingdom or something like that. I forgot what they said. Like I know Sasori, he took on, I think it was Granny Shield took on a castle. I forgot what Sasori took on. Like I think it was like a country by himself or something like that. Okay. But how come they have these like low scale damage attacks in the beginning of Naruto? If they're this strong in terms of power level, why don't they at least have an attack that can destroy a huge amount of field? Because that causes like the fans, and not just the fans, but just people who watch anime in general to downplay Naruto's power level and say it's not planetary. I would say Naruto's at least like planetary at some standpoint, being honest. And I mean the proof's obviously there. Like for example, the most common thing brought up is the Tonari moon split. Now, actually, kind of looking back at that, I think Naruto dodged it. Many people say he tanked it in base, but it looks more like he dodged it. But I mean, without effort, that still is a moon splitting attack by a guy who got one punch in the face by a base Naruto. No, mind you. Now, many people want, like, if you actually pay attention to the battle and in the movie, he's not fighting in base, but he's playing like defense basically. He's not trying to actually, kill Tonari and stuff like that. Because, Tonari's misguided. Somewhat. But, yeah. Anyways, guys, next anime, and I'm going to pick up the pace this time because I'm spending a little bit too much time on each individual anime. Now, let's get to Boruto. Okay, so honestly, what's my opinion on Boruto? I feel like Boruto is somewhat misunderstood in a sense, but I feel like it also does have its downsides, like even worsely slowing and decreasing like the speed of the characters makes them feel way slower. Another thing, the damage of the characters. Like I'm talking the Naruto versus Ashiki fight. The damage around that field should have been destroyed. It should have been like, looking like a wasteland. Instead, when Naruto kicked Ashiki into the rock didn't even break. That makes no sense whatsoever. They need to definitely up the budget in the animation department. That is for sure. Like you telling me they came out with Naruto and that animation is crazy, but they cannot recreate animation like that. I mean the animation is good. Don't get me wrong, but that's just the field of damage does not compare to Naruto Shippuden when it comes to like, the war arc. That makes no sense. And another thing, filler. Some of that filler, I'm gonna be honest with you, could be canon. It could do the one thing that Naruto never did. I'm talking about the original Naruto. Actually have normal ninja missions. Because these ninja missions that they have are actually somewhat normal and they actually add some type of, intenseness to the Boruto story. And some of these fillers, I'm not going to lie, are actually pretty cool. Like the one where they went back in time. That's obviously the best filler so far. Besides like the Slice to Life. That could be canon as well. Because, we like many anime fans like the Slice of Life filler. Because that's the coolest type of filler. But what if the filler was canon? Now that would be cool. Anyways, honestly, I feel like Boruto's misguided, and many people seem to understand it. Now, if we look at Naruto's story, Naruto, he came up from the dirt. He came up from the struggle. I'm talking, bro was like, he was neglected by the third Hokage even though the fourth Hokage legit told this man to watch my son when I'm gone. He didn't watch his son. And so anyways, he was neglected by the village. That's messed up. But our boy Naruto, he rose through the ranks, and now look at the boy. He is Hokage. He skipped every single other level. And now look at the boy. He Hokage. And now, getting back to Boruto, we see Boruto, he starts off as somewhat of a spoiled brat. So yeah. And that causes many people not to like him and stuff like that. I mean, being honest, actually, nah. I was about to say one of the biggest, in Naruto, and it's just anime history, the biggest cap. I was about to say Naruto was somewhat spoiled, but being honest, he has the opposite of what Naruto has. If you look at the story, Naruto starts from the bottom and grows up to the top, and now he's Hokage. Boruto starts at the top, And now his life is slowly declining, getting worse and worse, as you see with like the levels involved. You gotta remember, he started off with a good life, a skilled shinobi at that. You can't lie and say he was not at least, not low joning, but I would say he was at least high tuning level by the time he was, in the academy. Like, he knows the gentle fist, he has his variants of the Rasengan. But of course, you know what happens, is Momoshiki comes, plants in the Karma Seal once, they do that combination attack that kills off Momoshiki. But see, the major problem with that is Momoshiki slowly taking over his body, and when he does, he'll become an Otsutsuki and become Otsutsuki fight. Now, here's what's happening. His life is slowly going bad as other Otsutsukis want to, use him. And, it went from the positive to the negative real quick if you don't count the filler. see what I did there. But, honestly, I feel like Boruto's heavily misunderstood, and like me explaining alone might interest like very few people into watching it. But trust me, if you need to skip the filler, just skip the filler. But the problem is you'll be wondering what the rest of the content is. So yeah, major problems with that. So I think they need to up the pace in the producing actual canon stuff department. Anyways, next anime, Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball as a whole, because I'm not doing every single individual anime. So, I have not forgotten about Rock Lee. Man, dude is up there, at least in like the top 10 strongest in the village. And y'all telling me he can't help out within these missions? He would be a valuable asset. And summoning jutsu, where you can resummon the dead, exists. And yet they won't use it. Makes no sense. Anyways, Dragon Ball in general. Now, many people expect me to say, is it the Goku solos thing? No, I have no problem with that. Because, being honest, he doesn't solo. And that should be an obvious fact. You just can't deny it. He does not solo all fiction. But, anyways, I would have to say, my problem with Dragon Ball Z comes in the fact that they can't multitask. So you're telling me they can't come out with the Dragon Ball Super anime and do the manga at the same time. They have to do the manga, then do the anime, then pause, probably make some movies in between or before, and then the same cycle repeats. Because that's obviously what's happening here. And it's kind of trash. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm being honest. Anyways, next anime, Attack on Titan. Honestly, my biggest problem that stems from Attack on Titan is like the power system. Don't get me wrong, it's a good power system. Being honest, if you go up to 500 people who watch anime, I'm talking 500 people, like you go to an anime con or something, you ask 500 people, which power would they pick? There's a good 99.9% chance that they won't pick Attack on Titan Shifter. Because, obviously, it's cool. Let's say you can even give them, like, the main character's power. They would still say no. Because when they pick that power, they have 13 years left to live. Unless they're an old person, that old person will probably say yes. Otherwise than that, no. What type of power system is that? Hey, you want this power? No. Well, you're born with it. You got 13 years left. Huh? Next up, Jujutsu Kaisen. And this is probably one of my hugest anime pet peeves right here. When you give anime characters the most broken abilities, and you already know who I'm talking about. That dude in the cover with the blindfold on with the white hair. Kakashi 2.0. Anyways, you already know who I'm talking about. Gojo. My main problem with him stems from the fact that he has this insane almighty infinity power. Of course he's a hero, so he wouldn't destroy things. But when you use a power like that, you expect the things to be destroyed on a large scale. Many people scale him high. But honestly, I can't really scale his ability high when all you gotta do is outpace him in order to be better than him. And who knows, there could be a field of range on that thing. Many people have attacks that can just beam them from I'm talking planet distance. And many people will say, oh yeah, he's at least low diff. No, he's not. He's not faster than that person. He's not stronger than that person. I'm talking about like physical strength. Yeah, he beat that guy up in that one part. I'm not even gonna lie. Dude was throwing hands super fast. But still. Being honest though, yes, he has infinity, but with a power like that, is he using it wisely? As a hero, yes. But honestly, let's say we had to remove the worldscape, he had free reign to do whatever he want with that infinity, but he still uses it the same way. That's not smart, bro. I'm being honest. Because, he would have to, in order for him to actually, stand a chance against other characters with more far-range abilities, he would have to train himself to use his abilities at far range. In which, honestly, if you pay attention to the anime, he doesn't. Because if you pay attention, he's a good guy. He doesn't destroy, anything around the field with that ability. Makes no sense. It honestly doesn't. Next up, we got Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon ain't safe. And now I'm going to be honest with you. What did they do to Ash, man? He did not deserve that. That facelift is horrible. If you come to my face and tell me 2014 ain't peak, we have a problem. 2014 XYZ was peak Ash Ketchum. Had the best all-star team. You can't tell me he doesn't. Had the best all-star team. Dude actually had somewhat you can say superpowers with the Ash Green Ninja thing. I still think they should have given him a Mega Evolution. But still, you can't tell me that wasn't peak Ash. And that's just messed up. Turned dude into a circle when his face was a triangle with extra steps. And next up, guys, we have My Hero Academia. And so, let's move on. Honestly, the biggest sad thing that happened with this anime is the fact that many people don't watch it because the animation doesn't live up to the early seasons. By the early seasons, I mean basically, the beginning seasons. And I honestly don't know what happened, but it just kind of sucks because the story was actually pretty good and the ending part was rushed. I'm pretty sure it was probably be its own entire season, but they just rushed it into one episode, which I don't know how, but that should be an award. Honestly, that should be an award. Anyways, next one because Next up, we got Yu-Gi-Oh! And honestly, in the beginning, I'm still confused on how they, how the characters' animation will be when they lose. They'll be like, you defeated me. But they're not actually getting hurt by the stuff. And I'm not talking about the stuff that did with the Shadow Realm and stuff like that in the Yu-Gi-Oh! I already knew that was the Shadow Realm's influence and stuff like that. But that makes no sense. From the first battle, the one between Yugimoto and, Seto Kaiba in the beginning. How was Seto Kaiba I've been defeated, when it was just a holographic game? That still makes no sense to me. Dude got hit with a trap card and everything went south. Next up, we got one of my favorite anime of all time, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And I honestly don't know why I put this on the list, because I do not dislike this thing at all. Actually, no, there's one thing I do dislike. Why isn't the anime in the English dub finished fully like the regular anime in Japanese? That makes no sense. But not least, we got the Avatar. It's not a real anime. It is. It basically is. Dang. It's an anime. It's staying an anime. I don't care if it didn't meet the requirements. Everybody knows deep down in your heart that this is an anime. This thing has the soul of an anime, but it can't be called an anime because it wasn't based in Japan. That's messed up. Anyways, that's all I got to say. And that's all I got to say about the different anime. Otherwise than that, I see we're giving out. Subscribe so that we can reach 1,000 subscribers before summer. If not, it would be a bummer. But anyways, it's your boogeyman out. Boom.
Put my swag on 100 down in Ohio. Swag like Ohio. Down in Ohio. Swag like Ohio. Down in Ohio. Swag like Ohio.